Well, we got a beautiful morning today. No cloud in sight. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful morning after the rains. Very, very pleasant. It's not too hot, not too cold, and it's not windy. So that in my book is pretty perfect. All right, gonna walk the short routes today. I know I'm just swapping and alternating between the two, but you know, frankly, before I was capturing, I was walking usually just one route, and I don't know, I could do more, but the thing is that these are the most convenient ones, and unfortunately the one we could be doing leads across the field, and I'm not fond of going across the field. Oh wow, look at that. That's very low. Flying helicopter. Interesting. Okay. Is that police? I didn't see it clearly, but it looked like police helicopter. I actually once saw a helicopter. It's about 3 months ago, I think, roughly. It was this year for sure. And there was a helicopter flying extremely low across the field right in front of our house. And it was really, I've never seen a helicopter fly this low. When I say it was flying, I think it was like 20 meters above the ground. It was crazy. It was really like, it wasn't hovering above the ground, it was flying at pretty high speed. And it was barely at the height of the treetops, you know, the highest treetops. It was crazy. I saw it from my window. I didn't even have to like stand up or anything. I just saw it blaze through, and it almost looked like a flying car because it was low and it was fast, and it went across the field. It was really, never seen anything like it. Yeah, that was interesting, especially here. I mean, in the middle of almost nowhere, you know. I guess you can see that in the city somewhere, like, you know, close to the capital. But here it seems pretty unusual. Or maybe in the mountains, I imagine, because there's a lot of, inaccessible parts where they have to get by helicopter. But now, like here, that's pretty unusual sight. Oh, the smell. I love it. Yeah, still smells beautiful. Got blackcap singing behind our back. I think I've heard a cuckoo. Yeah, if this could be the whole year, like this kind of temperature, this kind of sun, this kind of mornings, I would be thrilled. I'm not really looking forward to summer, to be honest, because I don't know what temperatures await, but last year was insanely hot and dry and scorching, and I hope it's not going to be this year, but yeah, well, we'll see, but I wish it would stay like this, because this is absolutely perfect, you know, pleasant, refreshing, and yeah, but it's the beginning of May, essentially, you know, not even the half of May yet, so I don't know what August or July or August is gonna bring. We'll see. Hopefully it's not gonna be crazy, but seeing how everything what's happening these past few years, I'm kind of skeptical in that regard. But hopefully at least there's gonna be some rains in between, so there'll be mushrooms, you know. Hopefully. Unfortunately, the fruit season is going to be very, very, very sort of how do you put you know, not rich, the opposite of rich. Yeah, the word eludes me now. The opposite of rich, okay? Opposite of rich. Poor. Opposite of rich is poor. Come on, man. How did I not remember that? So poor, yeah. So this season's first season is extremely poor. I mean, it will be extremely poor, I believe. So unfortunately, there isn't like much to look forward to in that regard, like, you know, because usually like you're looking forward to like first cherries and then, you know, prunes and then you know, pears and all that, you know, and I do look forward to that every time because I love wild fruit and I love the fruit that you have on the garden and that you can pick somewhere outside. But unfortunately this year, that's gonna be very poor. You know, there's going to be very few fruit, if any, because of the frosts. Everything froze. So yeah, that's not great. So yeah, hopefully the mushrooms will grow. We'll see. Something that we'll be able to forage throughout the year. Something we can have fun with and cook something and all that. Get something to look forward to, you know, if you live close to nature and you're kind of go along with the seasons. Those are kind of like attractions for you, you know. It's like you're looking forward to that. I guess when you're living a big city and you don't really, you know, sort of you're not really in touch that much with what's going on with the environment and everything and the nature. And I mean, it doesn't really hit you that much, right? I mean, you buy things in the groceries and you get your apples from a shelf and all that. But and I'm not saying we're not buying fruit. I mean, obviously, you know, obviously we do. But I have to admit, I don't like bought fruit. You know, I just don't really like it. I don't know. I have no desire to buy it or eat it when it's bought, and I don't really have a desire to buy it when I'm in a store because I don't know, I just don't find it appetizing. But when it's outside on a tree and it's on your garden, and then I absolutely love eating fruit, you know. But other than that, it's not attractive to me, attracting in any way or appetizing. So yeah, but you know, these things are kind of like things that you look forward to. And for instance, mushroom picking is a big thing in Czech Republic. It's kind of a national sport, you could say. So a lot of people are looking forward to it. All sorts of backgrounds and all sorts of types of people. Even the people that live in the city, they look forward to it. Some of them at least. And yeah, you know, and when it happens that it's like too dry and too hot, nothing grows, it's kind of like sad, you know, because you have to wait for another year. Or you can go somewhere actually, usually when it's like this, very dry, very hot, usually there are spots throughout the country where they grow and you have to travel there. So in these moments, it's usually foothills or the mountains or just below them, because I guess that's where you get the precipitation and that's where you get the rains much more often, even though it's drought season, because I guess the mountains kind of break the clouds sort of and break the I don't know, cloud barriers, so that there's rain more often, I assume. And it's colder there, obviously, because it's elevated. So that's where you usually have mushrooms, even though everywhere else it's just dry. But I'm not the kind of person that would travel to pick mushrooms, really. Not that, you know, I love mushrooms, don't get me wrong, but I'm not that crazy into it that I would have to travel, you know, to get my sort of hit of mushroom picking to get my fix. No, not really. I can, you know, I can say, okay, well, that's how it goes, right? So let's wait for another year. And it was like that last year actually. I found only a couple of parcel mushrooms and that was it. And I was like, well, what can you do? The year before that was absolutely amazing. Absolutely the most bountiful season I remember was the year 2022. Then 2023 was very poor. And we'll see what this year is going to be. But if it's going to be poor, then, you know, I mean, life goes on. More of a problem would be if we would be dependent on it, obviously. But, you know, our system and society made sure that that doesn't happen. So we're not in this kind of a stress of like, oh, our crop froze and it's too dry for mushrooms to grow, so we don't have anything to eat. If that would be the case, we would be very stressed right now, I think, because no fruit, you know, droughts. Yeah, I mean, it's bad in that regard, really. Let's take it this way. See all the tracks in the it's a mud. Before it was very dusty soil, but now how it rained, it created sort of a mud. And we got some tracks. Let me point the camera downwards. You can see them. I don't have to tilt the camera. So there are tracks, yeah. Looks like most of it is roe deer. And yeah, roe deer. Pretty much, yeah, all roe deer. I don't see any more. There were actually some little paws, and I think those were cats. They are cats, street cats, you could say, or like house cats even, that go into the forest and they just, you know, chill, hang around, you know, and they go into the forest too. So that was probably, I think, a cat, but it could have been also a marten or something. But those are all roe deer tracks. Yeah, but yeah, cool. It showed us how active it is here. And I guess they're gonna start using this corridor that they created to sort of pass through, I assume. Maybe, I don't know, but it looks like they will. Ooh, it's very, very muddy here. I'm not sure that was a good idea to go through here. Let's take it through the middle. So yeah, if we would be dependent on the yields and on what grows and what doesn't, we would be not a great spot right now, I gotta say. But you know, society, and that's one of the pros, I guess, is that you're sort of backed up by the industry, and so far it didn't happen, but you know, I don't know what's going to be in a couple of decades, but so far when you go to a store, there's always something, right? But if we would be dependent on what the landscape has to offer and dependent on the climate, that would be, well, pretty hard, I think. Because for instance, this year, I don't think we would have almost, well, I'm not saying no fruit, but very few fruit. And yeah, no mushrooms. I don't know, maybe mushrooms will grow eventually, but yeah. But this rain was really, really beneficial. It's you can feel it in the air, and you can see it, how everything, you know, got a whole lot greener and sort of more lush and rejuvenated, so to speak. So it's great that it rained, and it's great that it rained this much. So yep, that's the end of the walk today. And oh, that up there is a chiffchaff. Yeah, I suppose if you've been watching these videos and you've seen the beginning of spring, like we talked about chiffchaffs. So that's a chiffchaff. Chiffchaff. Phylloscopus colibita. Sometimes I don't talk about some birds because I already covered them a couple of times, but if by any chance you found these videos now and you haven't seen the early ones, if you're curious about a bird or something you hear on the walk, like, don't hesitate to write in the comment, like, ask me, what is that, you know? And I'm gonna reply, oh, that's a blackbird, you know, or oh yeah, that's a alarm call of a blackcap or something, you know? Like, feel free to, because I would, you know, I'm not gonna, I wouldn't constantly talk about the same thing, right? And if somebody's watching it from the beginning, then it's like that person would hear it for 1,000 times, you know? So I cover it for a couple times in the beginning, and then I just move on, you know? Like, I'm gonna mention cuckoo a couple times, and then I will just not really say it's like, oh, this is a common cuckoo, you know? Because, yeah. So, but if by any chance you're gonna have a question, or you're gonna wonder, oh, what is that sound or something, and I didn't comment on it, feel free to drop a comment, and I will reply. Oh, that is you know, chiff chaff in this case. So yeah, with that, I'm going to sign off.